Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Haiku, and today I'm going to be talking about why I regret shaving my head. So I know that this might be a bit of a controversial topic, and I want to be sensitive about it because I know that for me, when I was thinking about shaving my head, I had a very sort of specific idea of what it meant to shave your head. I thought, and really what I'd been told and what I'd seen in the media and what I'd seen from other people on YouTube was that to shave your head was this incredibly liberating and empowering experience where you kind of like get rid of the male gaze and you learn to recognize beauty in a different way. And really that was what initially drew me to shaving my head. I felt like I had become so sucked into social media. I was posting selfies all the time, but I was never really happy with how I looked, and I know that that's a feeling that isn't unique to me or wasn't unique to me. I would change my hair color constantly. I bleached my hair for the first time when I think I was 16 or 17, and I had the bleached hair until up to a couple months ago, and now I'm 20. I'm almost 21 in August. So quite a while with the bleached hair, and being blonde really sort of became a part of my identity. I felt like I was most myself. I was perceived most as myself when I was blonde. For me, it was a big deal because up until that point, I had this long brown hair that I never took care of it. I didn't really care how I looked. I didn't want to draw attention to myself. So cutting it off and bleaching it blonde was really the first time that I realized that I could feel pretty, that I could feel attractive, that I could be approached by people that I thought that I wanted to be approached by for my physicality. That sort of exhilaration transformed into changing my hair constantly. I dyed my hair pink, I dyed it blue, I dyed it red, I dyed it brown, which was, kind of ironic because I was going back to my natural hair color. I pretty much dyed my hair every color under the sun, and I wasn't happy with it, usually for more than a couple of weeks. It became this sort of cycle where I was living for social media, and being the introvert that I am, I never really had an opportunity to share myself beyond that. It felt like if I didn't sort of advance in the social media world, I wasn't really pretty. I wasn't really worthy of being acknowledged. I got, you could say, a little bit hooked on constantly changing the way that I looked. It really affected everything else I was doing too. I'm a singer-songwriter, and the work that I was doing was becoming increasingly performative. I felt like I couldn't just post about the art that I was making. It had to be, me looking cute with the art, and it really became about that. So shaving my head had been on my mind for a long time. I thought that kind of getting rid entirely of this persona that I'd been creating might just symbolize to myself that even if I would be uncomfortable with looking the way that I looked with a shaved head, that empowerment and learning to love myself despite my hair and not really having the option to change my hair unless I wore a wig. I wanted to suffer in that way. I wanted to show myself that I would be okay, that I could acknowledge beautiful things about myself, that I could exist without social media. So when I talk about regretting shaving my head, I know that the word regret can be a little bit harsh, but I think, and I'm not saying that if you want to shave your head that it's the wrong decision, or even necessarily that I entirely regret shaving my head. I just want to kind of open a discussion about the fact that shaving your head isn't always an entirely positive experience. It can be really isolating. It can be really provoking of questioning your identity, questioning how you're perceived in the world, how you perceive yourself. And I know especially for me, it was really difficult to go out into the world and receive a different kind of attention, being approached less in that kind of a way, being more aware of the clothes that I wear, feeling like I wanted to sort of regulate how traditionally, by society standards, feminine or masculine things I wore were. Seems to get easier as time goes on, and I just sort of entered like the awkward phase of the growing out process. It's been about 2 months because I shaved my head June 6th, I believe. Only been 2 months. Wow, it kind of feels like it hasn't been. When I talk about regretting shaving my head, first of all, even though shaving my head had been something on my mind for years at this point, I recognized when I did it, it was for the wrong reasons. I remember I cut my hair really short, kind of past the point of no return, you could say. Parts of my hair were the level they are now, the length they are now, and other parts were to my ear. There were a few stragglers that were as long as they were before I started cutting the hair. I sort of ended up with this just concoction of lengths and textures. It was in that moment, after that sort of adrenaline of cutting through all my hair, that I looked to Nikita and I said, I regret this. I regret going this far with it. And I really felt that. I felt that it was the wrong decision. I felt that it wasn't for the right reasons. I felt that it was sort of just another impulsive act, just like dyeing my hair another color. I realized in that moment that I really was shaving my head to punish myself. I was shaving my head to prove that I could get through a really dramatic and extended period of time where I would feel unlike myself and ultimately be okay. And I think that's not something you should shave your head for. I think there is bound to be some degree of discomfort, some degree of unfamiliarity, some degree of redefining self-love, redefining your identity. And for some, it's an incredibly empowering experience. And I'm only 2 months in, so I'm not sure what else I could find. But thus far, I think if you're thinking about shaving your head, it's really important to ask yourself the reasons that you're doing it. Do you put a lot of emphasis on how you look, and is shaving your head a way that you are attempting to kind of cut the cycle? Because I can see how that could work for some types of people, but for me, I think I really needed to work on loving myself, whatever my hair looked like. And that would include if I felt most comfortable, if I felt most pretty and most like myself with blonde hair, then that it would be okay to just love myself that way, that I wouldn't need to shave my head, that I wouldn't need to prove anything to myself by feeling uncomfortable with the way that I look. There's enough suffering sort of in the world and within ourselves. I do regret it in the sense of, I know now that shaving my head wasn't really about self-love. It wasn't really about empowering myself. It was about proving a point. And the truth is, I was never in an argument with myself. There was nothing to prove. And anything you do in life, the question should be, does this bring you joy? And maybe this perspective is something that will ultimately benefit me. It's really challenging me and encouraging me to question how I define beauty within myself, and I knew that that would be something I would be thinking about after doing this. I have some notes here that I wrote for the video. One of the things I wrote was, I've always changed my appearance to feel closer to my true self, and I wish I had recognized my true self exists no matter what I look like. But then I wrote an arrow, but maybe I wouldn't have come to that conclusion if I hadn't shaved my head. So it's a mixed bag, basically. I think more than anything, this video isn't to tell you whether or not you should shave your head. I think it's an incredibly personal decision, and that's something I had to learn the hard way, is this really has to be for yourself, something that you would be comfortable doing alone, something that you believe will create a discomfort that's manageable for you, something that's valuable to your journey and your experience. And to some extent, you can't know the value of the journey until you're kind of in it. I know that people shave their heads for different reasons. Fortunately, I was able to shave my head because it was something I wanted to do, and I know that not everybody has that luxury. That's something that I can't speak on, and that's not really my intention with this video. My intention's not really to address those people. If you're looking to shave your head sort of to learn something about yourself or the world, or it's something you've always wanted to do, and you're thinking about it and you're questioning your reasons for it, I think the key is really to go inward and ask yourself if it's the right thing for what you need right now. In a way, it did sort of end the cycle for me. I don't think when my hair grows back I could just totally bounce back to the way things were before, where I'm sort of addicted to social media. I'm really sitting with myself in a different way. I'm seeing myself as I am, and I see my natural hair color for the first time I have in years. And it isn't brittle, and it isn't falling out. I don't have bangs that are singed off from bleach. I am aware that this is kind of an open conversation, and my opinion, I'm sure, will change about this. So if anybody wants an update as time goes on about my hair length or how I feel about it, or if my opinions have changed, just let me know in the comments below. And if you've shaved your head, let me know your experience. Let me know if you relate to my take. And I would also love to know your reasons for shaving your head. And if you haven't shaved your head, maybe tell me why you're thinking about it. That's all I have for today. So thanks for watching. If you would like to subscribe, I would deeply appreciate it. If you'd like to like the video, I would deeply appreciate that as well, and I hope to see some of you on my channel again. Bye!